I am the most snobbish daughter in a wealthy family. When my impoverished fiance came to my house, the nanny's daughter urged me to break off the engagement. I was about to agree when a comment suddenly appeared in front of me. It's so funny. The heroine is so scheming. She tricked the eldest daughter into breaking off the engagement, but she approached the hero privately because she knew that he would become the richest man in the world. The hero is the most loyal and righteous. He married the heroine for the past favors and made her one of the most distinguished women in the world. But the eldest daughter went bankrupt and had to sell herself to pay off her debts. In the end, she was played to death. I was shocked and then furious. No one can take away my opportunity to become rich enough to rival a country. So, under the nanny's daughter's gnashing eyes, I urgently called the hero who was about to leave in disappointment and said, I can let you stay with me, but you have to swear to be loyal to me for life. One just now, my country fiancé who was destined to be engaged to me came to my house. The boy, who was over 1.8 meters tall, was wearing ill-fitting leggings which were too short, exposing his fair and thin ankles. He wore a pair of white canvas shoes that were almost fuzzy from being washed so much, and they looked quite old. I felt disgusted, and my eyes moved up to the boy's embarrassed face. What did you just say? My light question put great pressure on the boy. He pulled at his clothes nervously and repeated his words with difficulty. I want to ask you to help me finish high school just because we have a childhood engagement. I will find a way to pay you back in the future. After he finished speaking, the boy quickly lowered his eyebrows, like a stray dog waiting for the judgment and verdict of its master, exuding a decadent atmosphere. Before I could say anything, my personal nanny, he Jowie, came up to my urn and said, Miss, let me tell you, this so-called child marriage is totally unacceptable. He shamelessly comes to ask for money before you've even officially gotten engaged. Who knows how greedy he will be in the future? Unlike Master G, who thinks of you all the time, you can take this opportunity to break off the engagement with the old gentleman. By then, he will have no reason to stop you from being with Master G. I agreed with her and was about to follow her words when a barrage of comments suddenly appeared in front of me. Poor male protagonist, he finally mustered up the courage to ask the young lady for help, but he didn't know what awaits him is only rejection. The hero is aloof and proud. If he is not desperate, he will never use the childhood engagement as a bargaining chip to ask for money. So funny. The heroine is so scheming. She tricked the eldest daughter into breaking off the engagement, but approached the hero privately just because she knew that the hero was a hidden dragon in the abyss and wanted to repay the favor. But the eldest daughter went bankrupt and had to sell herself to pay off her debts. In the end, she was toyed to death. At that moment, I was horrified, but more of it was absurd. I am Shanglo Wo Shi, the most mercenary eldest daughter in the wealthy family in Kyoto. The barrage said that I would be tricked by a little nanny and end up with a tragic death. Come on, it's funny, however. Just as I thought of this, I saw the barrage refreshed. In this novel, my favorite character is the eldest daughter. She is ambitious and self-centered. This is the image of a heroine I like. The heroine took advantage of this unsuccessfully, intercepted her marriage with the hero. Otherwise, it would be the eldest daughter who became the wife of the world's richest man. I stared at the words world's richest man in shock, and my heart turned into a raging rage. A mere nanny actually wanted to snatch my chance to become the richest man in China. Absolutely not. He Jowie was still chattering. Miss, don't hesitate anymore. Send him away. I glanced at her coldly and turned my gaze to the boy. He Jowie thought I was going to deal with him and continued to do her best to destroy my image in front of him. I told you to leave, but you didn't. Now the young lady has come to help, and you won't have a good ending. After that, she stared at me intently, expecting me to humiliate the boy severely so that she could play the role of a confidant who comforts his wounded heart after he failed and win his favor. Unfortunately, I didn't give her this opportunity. I approached the boy. I can agree to your request and even cover all your college expenses, but I have a condition. Hearing this, Jowie's face suddenly froze. Young lady, you. I ignored her shock, staring at the boy's back with indifference, waiting for his choice. What? The boy didn't even turn his head, obviously no longer holding any hope. The next second I said, I hate unfaithful people. Once you take my money, you are mine. You must be loyal to me all your life and cannot betray or disobey me. Otherwise, I will never forgive you. I was arrogant and threatening, but the boy accepted it without hesitation and swore, I swear I will be loyal to you all my life and will not betray or disobey you. Otherwise, I will die without a burial place. Although I don't know why the plot has changed, the eldest lady is so forseated. The hero's moral level is ridiculously high. Once he makes a promise, he will keep it for the rest of his life. I glanced at the barrage, retracted my gaze with satisfaction, and ordered the housekeeper, take him down and settle him down. I watched Lu Jianchuan leave, but I heard he jowies dissatisfied, shouting, Miss, you kept Lu Jianchuan. Have you thought about how to explain to Master Ji? You just accepted his kindness. Even if you insist on your own way, you shouldn't be so indecisive. She looked indignant, and there was obvious condemnation in her eyes when she looked at me. I was neither angry nor upset and asked calmly, Who do you think you are? How dare you teach me how to do things? This light sentence directly choked He Jowie. Her face was aggrieved, as if she had eaten a fly. That's great. The eldest lady was mean to him. I have long disliked him. The heroine's family obviously relies on the eldest lady to live a superior life, but she is doing small tricks behind her back. What's the difference between this and an ungrateful wolf? Yes, we don't need a heroine with a distorted outlook. The barrage of comments cheered. I curled my lips and left happily, leaving He Jowie staring at my back angrily. To He Jowie is the daughter of my nanny, but she has lived uneaten with me since she was a child, enjoying treatment that is much higher than that of ordinary people. Just because her father once stood up for me when I was in trouble, I was safe and sound, but he was paralyzed from the waist down because of it. Looking at him lying on the dying bed, I asked, How do you want me to repay you? His father said, I don't ask for anything else. I just hope that my wife and daughter can have enough food and clothing. I only then realized that his father was so determined to block the death from me because he was already terminally ill. He resolutely used his life to fight for a bright future for his wife and daughter. Facts have proved that he succeeded. With the life-saving grace in front of me, even if I know through the barrage that He Jowie has to hearts, I can't easily abandon her, otherwise I will be severely criticized by the outside world. He Jowie was obviously aware of this, and she came to me to apologize the next day. Miss, I was wrong. I shouldn't have spoken to you in such a harsh tone yesterday. He Jiao's words were sincere and seemed to be extremely regretful. In the past, I would have made a big deal out of a small matter, but this time I said lightly, What else? And I shouldn't have presumptuously guessed what you meant. She said it hesitantly, but I rejected it outright wrong. He Jowie's face froze. I leaned forward, patted her face lightly, and reminded her, He Jowie. Although your father has done me a favor, your identity is just an Annie, which in ancient times would be a servant. Servants are not qualified to ask about their master's affairs. Who I like and who I choose? Is it your turn to point fingers? There was a strong warning in my words. He Jowie felt embarrassed and lowered her head, holding back her sobs and said, I'm sorry, miss, I won't do it again. Her apology attitude seemed sincere, but in fact it concealed reluctance and humiliation. This unwillingness and humiliation eventually turned into resentment and anger towards me. But so what? He Jowie made me unhappy, and I would take revenge right now. He Jowie maintained the half-bent posture for a long time until she could no longer support her weak body and trembled slightly. I said lazily, Okay, why are you so serious? I'm just joking with you. Now, it's socialism. How could I do the landlord classes stuff? This time He Jowie learned her lesson. She forced a smile and said, No, the eldest lady is not wrong. It's true that I didn't put my identity in the right place. I'm glad to know. I waved my hand. Go down and have a rest. Don't you have to go to the hospital to see your father tomorrow? He Jowie bowed respectfully to me again before leaving. The heroine is narrow-minded. She will definitely find a way to retaliate after being humiliated by the young lady today. Can we just doctor her away? I'm afraid the one upstairs can't do that. The heroine is the young lady's savior. The barrage was discussing heatedly, and I was also thinking, is there any way to prevent future troubles? I hate this passive feeling. Just as I was distressed, the housekeeper came and handed me a document. Young lady, this is what you asked me to investigate. I have always been curious about why Lu Jianchuan, as the male protagonist and a genius, could break his pride and come to me for help with an unnecessary child marriage. Until I saw the bleak scene of his house with my own eyes, the alley was narrow and dark, and the low and dilapidated walls on both sides were covered with ivy. It had just rained, and there were puddles everywhere on the uneven ground. I stepped on it, and the mud and water splashed, staining my snow-white skirt. The housekeeper frowned and suggested, "Miss, I'll go. You wait in the car." "No need." I refused. It's better to win people's hearts and minds by yourself. I endured the discomfort, lifted my skirt, and continued to walk in, and soon arrived at the door of Lu Jianchuan's house. His elderly grandmother squatted on the ground with difficulty, washing clothes with her sallow and bony hands. According to the information, Lu Jianchuan's mother met the wrong person. After being cheated of all her property by her gambling husband, she was completely disappointed in love and hated her own son. In the cold winter, little Jianchuan was abandoned in the trash can. When he was about to freeze to death, it was his grandmother who hobbled and carried him home step by step, and raised him with a spoonful of rice soup. Until now, his mother has never fulfilled her mother's responsibilities, but instead plundered all the property in the family, including the money that his grandmother had saved hard to treat his aunt with ALS. Lu Jianchuan once thought about dropping out of school to work, but was awakened by a slap from his grandmother. "He is my responsibility, not yours. How can you spend your whole life with him? Don't worry, I won't let anyone drag you down. I will take your aunt with me when I die." Lu Jianchuan was desperate, and suddenly remembered the existence of this child marriage, and came to the door with a licking face. "Girl, you are." I stood at the entrance of the alley for a long time, so long that my grandmother discovered my existence. I pulled up a perfect smile on my lips, took the initiative to walk in and introduce myself. "Grandma, I'm Shang Woshi." Hearing this name, she was slightly surprised. "You have grown so big," I said, glanced at the pile of clothes at her feet, and immediately a bodyguard came forward to take over the washboard and wash basin, intending to take over her job. The Lu family was so poor that they couldn't even afford a washing machine and needed to use the most primitive method to change and wash clothes. Grandma was somewhat at a loss and politely declined. No, I can do it myself." Lu Jianchuan happened to see this scene when he came back. "What do you want to do to my grandma?" Due to the angle, he misunderstood that the bodyguard wanted to harm my grandma and rushed over quickly, protecting my grandma firmly behind him, with a vigilant look and a guarded posture, which was completely different from the obedient look the day before when he said he would be loyal to me forever. It seems that his claws are not polished clean. I stared at him silently, fighting with my eyes, neither of us giving in. Is there going to be a misunderstanding? Don't be cruel. The eldest lady hates being provoked the most, but the hero is so nervous when he encounters the matter between the grandmother and the aunt. Just when the barrage thought that the two of us were about to have a rift, the grandmother pulled him away unscolded. "Xiao Sheng asked someone to help me wash clothes with good intentions. Why are you so excited?" Lu Jianchuan then noticed that the bodyguard was holding old clothes in his hand and was a little at a loss for a moment. But I didn't want to listen to any explanation from him anymore and turned away with a cold face. Before getting in the car, I told the housekeeper revoke all privileges for Lu Jianchuan. For overnight, Lu Jianchuan's life fell from heaven to hell. But as the barrage said, his moral level is ridiculously high. If it were someone with a narrow mind, he would have resentment long ago, but he didn't. Instead, he felt extremely guilty and wanted to apologize to me. But we are people of different classes. If I don't take the initiative to meet, he can't find out my whereabouts at all. Occasionally, when we met at school, he would muster up the courage to talk to me, but as I was the center of attention, a group of people would quickly gather around me, squeezing him into an inconspicuous corner. Then he could only watch me like a queen, being surrounded by people and leaving, while he could only stare at my back alone, feeling unattainable. He jowie was like a ghost. She walked silently behind him and said, "See? Shangmo Wo, she is so moody. She can put you in heaven 1 second and send you to hell the next. Besides, Shangwo she values profit over friendship. She already has Ji Hui Chu, the prince of the Ji family, who is a good match for her. She will never like you. To her, you are just a plaything for her to pass the time when she is bored. The damn heroine is trying to sow discord again. Miss, go quickly and don't let her evil plan succeed. The comments were all worried about me, but I was indifferent. We had agreed long ago that I would give money and he would be loyal. If he became distracted, alienated because of my neglect, it would mean that he is not a person. When it comes to unfaithful people, I would rather die with honor than live in disgrace. Fortunately, Lu Jianchuan did not disappoint me. He looked in my direction and whispered, "So what? I am happy with it." "Did you hear that, miss? This is the most loyal confession from a puppy." The comments were so loud, I curled my lips in satisfaction and turned to leave. Fave ever since Lu Jianchuan revealed his true thoughts. The comments have been, "Let's make peace and just consider it as my beg," but the heat is not enough. After school that day, I just got in the car, and the comments suddenly said, "Miss, help me, the male lead was bullied in the toilet." What? I was shocked and hurried back to school with my bodyguard. Yunchuan, no. One middle school is an aristocratic middle school with a large area. It took some time to find someone. When I arrived, Lu Jianchuan had been knocked down. One person stepped on his back, waist, and legs. He was suppressed and had no power to fight back. The leader squatted in front of him, turned his face, and looked around. "No wonder Miss Shang made an exception to keep you. Your face is still quite interesting. But who can blame you for your competitor being Master Ji?" As he said that, he pulled out a dagger. "Where do you think I should start first?" The blade was shiny, reflecting the boy's angry eyebrows. The man warned, "Think about your family before you resist. Are they more important, or is your face more important?" Hearing this, Lu Jianchuan's tense muscles suddenly relaxed. "That's good." The man smiled smugly and gestured with the dagger twice. Seeing that the blade was about to fall top, I appeared with my bodyguards and stopped this one-sided bullying in time. The man looked up and saw that it was me. He was shocked and dropped his dagger with a clang. A group of people were rumbling with fear. "Shang, Sister Shang, when did you dare to touch my people?" I sneered. They were afraid of being pissed off by me, so they honestly gave out the culprit. "Sister Shang, this is Master Ji's order." "Ji Hui Chu, very good." I sneered. "All of you get out." Suddenly, a group of people ran away as if they had been pardoned, leaving only the bruised Lu Jianchuan. I glanced at them and ordered the housekeeper, "Deal with it." The moment I turned around, someone grabbed the hem of my skirt from behind. I was unhappy. "Dirty hands, take it away." Lu Jianchuan was deeply hurt by the disgust in my eyes. "I just want to say sorry to you. I misunderstood you last time. Oh, if I care about this all day, I will be mad at you sooner or later." From beginning to end, Lu Jianchuan was the only one who was brooding over it. He realized something and drooped his eyelashes sadly. "My poor little lover, fate is so unfortunate, and he still hasn't reconciled." The barrage was eager to push CP, so I hope that our relationship can have a qualitative development. But I'm a businessman and never do business at a loss. What I want is Lu Jianchuan's submission to me from body to heart. 6. After this bullying incident, my relationship with Lu Jianchuan did not improve. Instead, I drove him to the most remote servant's room, but privately I ordered people to take his grandmother Undant to the hospital for treatment. The housekeeper informed Lu Jianchuan of all these things. "The eldest lady is just a little cold-tempered. In fact, her heart is softer than anyone else. Grandma Undant are Lu Jianchuan's weak points. If you control them, you control Lu Jianchuan." After hearing the housekeeper's words, his heart was filled with emotions. "Thank the eldest lady for me." But he Jowie didn't know the inside story. It was not until I completely disgusted with him that I came over hypercritically. "Miss, the last time you saved Lu Jianchuan in the toilet, it was equivalent to publicly acknowledging his identity as your fee. Identity is your fee. Isn't it too unfair for him to live there now? Only now did I realize that Joey's acting skills worse. Oh, poor that she thought she had an opportunity. So she came to test my attitude, but the smugness in her eyes was not restrained at all. I glanced at her. How about you switch with him? Her face froze and she smiled awkwardly. I don't mean that. Then shut up. I fiddled with my new manicure nonchalantly. Remember your identity and don't meddle. My patience is limited, and the life-saving needle can't always be yours. Joey, you better think it over. I said lightly at the end of my voice, the golden medal of immunity from death that your father exchanged for his life can't withstand your repeated consumption. She trembled all over, her lips moved, and finally swallowed all her reluctance and retreated in embarrassment. At night, I watched Joey walk into the servants' room with a food box through the surveillance. Liu's Chuan try this. I asked the kitchen to make it on purpose. Her voice was sweet. The eldest lady is too cruel. How could she let you eat that kind of pig food? The boy sat on the edge of the bed, his back straight like a pine tree. No, I'm not hungry. Don't be so stubborn. I saw it all. Joey came closer. You only ate half a bowl of rice yesterday. If you continue like this, your body will collapse. Lu Chuan finally raised his eyes. His eyes were as cold as ice. Don't bother with my business. I'm just concerned about you. Joey was anxious. Why are you so stubborn? Shang Wo, she doesn't treat you as a human being at all. She just treats you as a dog that can be summoned and dismissed at will. Father Crisp's laugh sounded particularly harsh in the surveillance. I raised my eyebrows and saw Lu Chuan grabbing Joey's wrist, his knuckles turning white due to the force. Remember, she is my master and your benefactor. If you dare to say a bad word about her again, I will make you regret coming to this world. Joey covered her face and stepped back in disbelief. You actually hit me for her. Get out. The boy stood up. His figure was thin, but his aura was intimidating. Don't show up in front of me again. The barrage of comments went viral. Lu Jiu is so handsome when protecting his master. The heroine finally hit a wall. She deserves it. I turned off the surveillance. A satisfied smile appeared on the corner of my lips. This is the loyal dog I want. A week later, I took Lu Chuan to attend Ji Chu's birthday party. He changed into a tailor-made haute couture suit with broad shoulders and narrow waist, and as elegant as jade, attracting the attention of the whole audience. Isn't that Shang Wo, she's little follower? How come he is dressed like a man? I heard that he is a country bumpkin who can't even tie a tie. The discussions came one after another, but Lu Chuan turned a deaf ear to them. His eyes always on me. What do you need to do? I reached out to help him adjust his tie. My fingertips stroked his Adam's apple. Ji Chu will come to toast later. You just need to. Before I finished speaking, Ji Chu came over with champagne, his eyes sinister. Shang Wo, you really brought him. I smiled like a flower. Why, Master Ji is not welcome. Ji Chu didn't respond, but turned to look at Lu Chuan. I heard that you are good at math. Why don't you help me calculate? He tapped the champagne glass with his fingertips. How much is my glass of wine? This was a naked humiliation intended to belittle Lu Chuan's background. But Lu Chuan suddenly said, this is the 1945 collector's edition of Romani Conti. There are only 3 bottles left in the world. The auction price last year was $38 million. Ji Chu's face froze. You? Lu Chuan paused, picked up a glass of sparkling water from the waiter's tray. In my opinion, this glass of soda is much more valuable than your wine. Why? Ji Chu asked subconsciously. Lu Chuan looked at me with a light in his eyes because she handed it to me. The whole place was silent. I raised my eyebrows, and my fingertips unconsciously stroked his cuffs. This little dog actually learned to fight back. Ji Chu's face turned pale, and he walked away. The barrage exploded into fireworks. Lu Chuan is so good. Is this a two-way? I'm crying. I didn't say anything, but just pinched his wrist gently. He understood instantly and bent down to help me straighten the hem of my skirt. This action satisfied me more than any sweet word. 9 after the banquet, I took Lu Chuan to the top terrace. The night breeze wrapped in neon light swept across his red ears. Why help me? I asked knowingly. He lowered his eyes, his Adam's apple rolled. Because you are my master. Just because of the master. I took half a step closer and looked up at him. No other reason. He stepped back suddenly, but hit the railing and had nowhere to escape. The moonlight fell on his eyelashes, casting a shadow. Undo? I tilted my head. Tell me about it. He suddenly grabbed my wrist and pressed it against the railing. The action was too bold, and my pupils shrank slightly, but I didn't push him away. Because I want to win. He said in a hoarse voice, when your trust, will your ambition win? He paused, his Adam's apple against my fingertips. Win the qualification to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. I raised my eyebrows. Do you know what I want? I know. His eyes were burning. What you want is the throne of the world's richest man, and he held my hand and pressed it on his chest. I am your sharpest knife. The New Year's bell rang in the distance, and the barrage flashed quickly in front of my eyes. What kind of domineering speech is this? Miss, kiss him quickly. I smiled, and my fingertips ran across his lips. Remember what you said today, Lu Jianquan. If one day you let me down. No, he interrupted me, lowered his head and kissed my fingertips unless I die. At this moment, I was finally sure that this wolf, which I had tamed, had learned to use its sharpest claws to tear open the thorns that blocked my way. 3 years later, Lu Jianquan graduated from Tsinghua University with the highest score in all subjects. At the graduation ceremony, I gave him a cufflink with LS engraved on I, this last name and my first name. This is a reward, but also a warning. I pinned it on his cuff. From today on, you will officially join the Shang group. He lowered his eyes and looked at me with deep eyes. At your disposal, my queen. That night, I took him to the Shang group's annual dinner. When the host read out new executive president Lu Jianquan, the whole audience was in an uproar. Is Shang Luoshi crazy? Let a poor boy take charge of trillions of assets. Just wait and see. Within half a year, Shang will collapse. I turned a deaf ear to him and handed him the microphone. Say what you want to say. Lu Jianquan took the microphone and swept his eyes across the questioning faces in the audience. You should be very curious. Why do I stand here? He paused and suddenly laughed. Because I spent 3 years to set up 56 ports overseas for Shang Group and 117 new energy projects. And he looked at me because of this cufflink she gave. The whole audience gasped. I know that they finally realized that this young man who was once trampled in the mud by them has become the sharpest blade of Shang Group. When the show was over, he Jowie suddenly rushed over with the document in his hand. Shang Luoshi, look at what this is. It was Lu Jianquan's physical examination report. Congenital heart disease? I raised my eyebrows. So, what? He Jowie smiled grimly. So he won't live past 30. You think you have found a gold mine, but it's just a time bomb that can explode at any time. Lu Jianquan's face changed slightly, but I raised my hand to stop him. I took the report and tore it into pieces slowly. Jowie, you are so stupid and cute. I leaned close to her ear. Even if he can only live for one day, it is enough for you to never turn over. She retreated in fear, and I took Lu Jianquan's arm and laughed. Are you afraid? I asked. He shook his head. No. It is my honor to die in your hands. I smiled and poked his chest with my fingertips. Don't think about being lazy. You still have to accompany me to conquer the world. 5 years later, Lu Jianquan stood at the New York Stock Exchange to ring the bell, and Shangxi officially became the company with the highest market value in the world. At the press conference, someone asked, Mr. Lu, who are you most grateful to? He looked at me in the audience, his eyes full of stars. It's my Fian Qi, Miss Shang Luoshi. Without her, there would be no me today. The whole audience was boiling, and the barrage was overwhelming. Mr. Lu is so spoiled. It's so cool for the eldest lady to do business with her husband. When I stood up to leave, he Jowie suddenly rushed out of the crowd with a dagger in her hand. Shang Luoshi, go to hell. Lu Jianquan rushed over almost instantly, unblocked the blade from me. The blood stained his shirt red, but he held me tightly and yelled at the security guard, watch your wife. He Jowie was pressed to the ground, hysterical. Why? Why are you always around her? I am the one who loves you the most. Lu Xianshu wiped the blood from the corner of his lips and sneered. You are not even as good as one of her fingers. In the ambulance, I held his hand. Does it hurt? He shook his head and straightened my messed up hair instead. Are you scared? I didn't say anything, but just lowered my head and kissed his fingertips. There was an old scar there, left by the knife he blocked for me that year. His pupils shrank suddenly, and he pressed me into his arms with his backhand. Shan Woshi, do you know? From the day you asked me to swear allegiance, I am no longer myself. Oh, I looked up at him. Then who are you? He chuckled and kissed my forehead. I am your sword, your shield, your... He paused, his voice low and hoarse, your loyal dog. 12 Jiaoi Jiaoi was sentenced to life imprisonment for intentional homicide. Ji Wei Chu's company was acquired by Lu Xiangchuan, and our wedding was scheduled to be held on the top of the snow-capped mountains in Switzerland. Are you nervous? I stood in front of him in my wedding dress. He reached out and put the diamond ring on me, stroking my ring finger with his fingertips. When I first met you, I didn't even have a pair of shoes that fit, but now I can stand here and marry you. He lowered his head and kissed me. Shang Woshi, thank you for not driving me away that year. I put my arms around his waist and looked at the snow-capped mountains in the distance. I never suffered any loss. Lu Xianshu, you are my most successful investment. He smiled and hugged me in his arms. No, I am climbing up. At the wedding scene, the barrage appeared again. Congratulations, miss. The male protagonist is finally tortured. Who would have thought that the poor boy back then would become the richest man in the world? The eldest lady really has a sharp eye. I turned off the barrage, tilted my head and kissed Lu Xianshu. I prefer the ending written by myself to the virtual spoilers. There are no born loyal dogs in this world, only lone wolves tamed by ambition. And I will always be the one holding the reins. Lu Xianshu, I whispered in his ear, continue to be my loyal dog in the future. He hugged me tightly with a smile in his voice. Always my queen.